If this is true, how does not every single human being in this entire place stop everything that they are doing and work with every ounce of gifting, resource, connection that we have to stop this? The first time that I had ever heard about human trafficking, I was actually at a women's conference, and there was a missionary from Thailand that was speaking on the issues, and she began to tell the most horrific stories. My mind still goes there, and I will still cry as I think about the first stories that I heard about finding babies in trash cans that had just been raped over and over to the point of death. And I thought, the natural part of my human self said, this cannot be true, but I believe what I'm hearing. And as I had that thought, I had something from heaven come down over me that felt like this massive weight, responsibility that said, for the rest of your life, you will fight human trafficking until it's ended, until the giant is down. And I'm a runner. And so the Lord gave me, just a couple of months after this encounter at a women's conference, a full-on vision as I'm running. And I see a sea of runners, thousands of runners. And usually in a race, they have numbers on their backs. And instead of numbers, it was faces. So now instead of seeing a sea of runners, I just see a sea of faces that they are running, that they are representing what they're running for. And I realize they're running for the freedom of those that have been trafficked. We've launched what we call Justice Run. It started in Fort Worth. We did Austin last year. We're going to Washington, D.C. this year, but it's to raise awareness and then also to call people into the fight against human trafficking by running these races with us and then fundraising for what we call the Justice Residences. We are building the largest restoration home ever built in America that will house up to 100 survivors in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a state-of-the-art facility where they will get all of the care physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually that they need. And then the long-term vision is that we build one of these in every single state and then in nations. And so we've raised up an army of advocates where every single girl that comes through the program will have their own advocate and their own intercessor that will actually grow with them throughout life. We wrote our own biblically based, presence-driven curriculum. We want to give this away to any safe homes or restoration homes that want it. We're giving it away for free. We truly believe that Jesus is the healer. Jesus has to be the center. Me, myself, I was a drug addict. I was actually at a party one night doing a bunch of drugs, and I ended up overdosing. And the dealer that I was with thought I was dead, didn't want to be charged for my death, who had been giving me a lot of the drugs that night. So he dropped me off in an abandoned apartment. I missed school for a couple of days. The school called my mom. They tracked my friend that I was with down, who tracked the dealer down. My friend said, you're going to show me where she's at. I gained consciousness for the first time. On the third day, I heard them barely just fighting because they thought that I was dead in the living room of this abandoned apartment. And so I tried to move to get the door to squeak open so that they would not leave me. And the next thing you know, they picked me up off the ground and brought into the doctor's office where they do all the blood work. And I'll never forget the doctor's faces walking in. They came in and they said, you're a walking dead woman. You should be dead. You have more drugs in your system than what should kill 3 grown men. And it was like this first time of realizing that I shouldn't be alive. Why am I alive? And beginning to search, why am I alive? 3 months later, after a series of God encounters that I actually write in my book, Unscarred, I meet my husband, my now husband, who's a pastor's kid, never touched drug, alcohol, nothing in his life. Meet him. He invites me to church, and I go to this Pentecostal church, never been to anything like it in my life, but I feel the presence of God. It was a washing of a wave of peace, and I hadn't felt peace, I don't think, my whole life. This right here, this peace is what I want to be the obsession and addiction for the rest of my life. And I never turned back. God delivered me, sent people into my life. And this is where that fuel, that faith comes from for all of these girls, is I know the works, I know the wonder, I know the power of Christ that is gonna set them free the same way that he did me. And since I have given my yes to fighting human trafficking, since I've given my yes to building the justice residence, which had its warfare, of course, with it, but anything would, it has been the greatest joys of my life to do with my family, to do as a church, because it's fulfilling what's in the Father's heart.
My name is Rosy Orozco, a former congresswoman from Mexico who fought against the cartels and human trafficking. This year, we are launching the Heroes Wanted campaign, shining a light on extraordinary people fighting in the front lines.
So go to kaleido.charity/heroeswanted, watch their stories to help amplify their impact, and vote for the hero who inspires you the most.